Good morning, y'all. Pyraxis here. Just feel like a bear coming out of hibernation after a long winter. It's pretty much spring now here, and thought I would just head out and see what's out there today. Thinking about taking a little trip just out to one of my hiking spots out there along the Monongahela River, actually. As you can see, I've been cleaning up the yard pretty good. Finally getting this tree that fell down, and this one over here. It's a lot of work for a nearly 60-year-old. I mean, still got two more years plus a month, but it still used to be able to do all that stuff in a couple of days or at least in a weekend, and now it takes forever, and that's where I burn it. You can see there's still a little smoke coming out there. Got a nice bunch of garlic growing in here. I mean, I counted them, there's over 50 cloves here and there. Planted my first bed, the root vegetables, because we still got a little bit of frost maybe coming and stuff. But yard's looking good. We got our first mowing yesterday. Got a bunch of crows that moved into the area. Or ravens, actually. That one's a raven. Or no, that's a hawk. But that one's a crow. And I've seen crows, ravens. Yeah, they're just moving in for some reason. But honeyberries, hopefully I'll get some this year. There's a few flowers under there, and they've been pollinated. Blueberries, everything's coming to life. But I'm gonna go ahead and get in the Jeep here. We're gonna go ahead and head out to the creek, and that's when I'll turn the camera back on. Just a little quick intro here. Thanks. Okay, well, we're here. I'm about 8 to 10 miles away from home. I'm at the northern edge of Friendship Hill Park. And this is the back way in. This is not the main entrance. It's just, a lot of people don't even know about this entrance, but it's the trail behind me here, and it goes, that's the Friendship Hill Trail, close to New Geneva, and it goes back along the river. You can actually see part of the river. Well, probably not through the camera, but I can see the river on the other side of the tracks there through the trees. It's a good fishing spot back in there where the old lock and dam it used to be. Now you can see all this green stuff on the ground. This is an invasive lesser celandine. Yellow flower gives it away there, but this stuff is just taking over this whole area, and I've heard that it does that. It'll take over an area, and sad part is it's taken over a lot of the ground where this wild garlic, wild onions and garlic grow. And over here you can see we got tons. On this bank we got tons of little spring beauties. You can see the spring beauties there. They have a little corm, a little rootstock kind of thing that you can dig those up, and you can boil them like potatoes and butter them, and they're really tasty. Looks like a lot of daylily starting to sprout up in here too. Now, this is the 166, I think is the name of the road. Yeah, right by New Geneva. And it's a good little place to hike. Friendship Hill has a lot of nice trails. This is my Jeep, and someone else, a nice lady with pink or purple hair. She seemed really sweet, really nice, outdoorsy type. And she's out ahead of me there. I figured I'd give her a little, space. But yeah, we got all kinds. We got box elders and sycamore, big beautiful sycamore above us here, a couple of them. Just a nice mix of forest here, and we're gonna see if we can't find anything interesting today. Maybe we'll get lucky and find a few mushrooms, although unfortunately I didn't bring a bag, and I can't really find one in the Jeep, so I don't know. We'll see what we can see. Okay, let's make sure we're running, and we do. Now, for some reason, this is like right down the trail, and we've got something, some kind of construction that used to, or ruins of some building that used to be here long ago. Probably part of the town of New Geneva. It was probably one of the glass or pottery works or something like that. But you can see there's blocks all around here. Some of these stones, but we got blocks, and still part of the foundation sitting there. Really nothing interesting yet. Like I said, a lot of spring beauties. A lot of spring beauty flowers. Oh, little pollinator there. But there's just so many of them that I don't think it would hurt to dig some up and get some of the fairy spuds, is what they call them. Still, I don't know. Hopefully, like I said, we'll find some mushrooms, and it's kind of hard spotting those morels right off the bat. They kind of blend in really well. But there's something growing on these logs. I don't know what they were, but they're already way past. They're way past. There's some over there. Looks like pheasant backs, which are also edible, but not as flavorful in my opinion. So it just, I don't know. It just depends. Certain ones have more flavors than others. Well, let me see what's down here. Looks like I'm following a deer here. Got deer tracks. Got a nice little flow going here across the trail. It's one of my favorite times of year, though. Just everything's so nice and fresh and coming to life, and it's great. All right, let's turn it off for a little bit and see what's up next. Okay, we've reached first crossroads. Here's the sign. Tells you all about the trails in the area. Friendship Hill Trail System. And shows your river, shows all the different trails. Let's see, back up a little there. But you are here, so like I said, right here is the edge, and then follows the tracks until the tracks cross the river over here. But we're gonna probably walk all the way down here and then just back up the same way, and we're gonna come up to Dublin Run. I'll probably turn the camera back on there because there's a nice little bridge that goes over Dublin Run, and a little creek with some fish in it, and a lot of interesting little plant species around there. Hopefully we'll see. Now it's funny because on the drive here I saw a bunch of in fact there's one down there, a couple little patches. I didn't think that the May apples were going to be this far along, but yeah, we got a bunch of May apples coming up. And I passed that girl who was looking for the mushrooms. Haven't seen any yet. She or I, we haven't found any, but just those ones back there on that log that I took the little picture of. Like I said, there were tons of spring beauties. Tons of spring beauties this time. I might have to, next time, maybe tomorrow I'll come out and I'll bring my garden fork and I'll dig some up, because have me a nice little serving of fairy spuds. And just here, all you have to do is boil them and butter them, and they're supposed to be really delicious. Something I want to try before I kick the bucket, the bucket list. All right, so next stop is probably the bridge then. Well, we're coming down the hill right into where I said Dublin Run is, and a little bridge. Like I said, it's just a nice little area because it's got the creek running through there, and then it's got a nice little floodplain area, which is kind of good for certain species. A lot of down trees around here. In fact, a big old white pine, there's a nice little stand of them behind me. One of them came down and went right across the trail, and they already cleaned that up, so that's nice. But yeah, this is Dublin Run. I like this time of year with all the moss on everything. You can see now up there past that beech tree where all those fallen logs are, that you can see there's a nice little patch of pawpaws right up there. So far they haven't been big enough to produce, but maybe this year they'll have some, they'll probably got some buds and stuff on them, so I don't know, we'll have to see. There's one pawpaw tree right in here somewhere that I've never seen any fruit on it, but it's like a single lone one by itself now. Here, I don't think we're going to see any fish. I can see them, but I don't think you can see them in the camera. But yeah, there's always little minnows in here. They see me and they're like darting for cover, trying to find a place to hide. A lot of wild rose bushes over here. Good thing I wore my long pants. Now I've also planted more pawpaws in here to try to get some genetic variety going. Oh, look, we got our first trilliums. One of my favorite flowers. I love the trilliums. These are just the regular white ones. Yeah, I knew we'd probably see some trilliums today. Oh, look at them all over here on the bank. Oh, this is just awesome. Yeah, trilliums are one of my favorite flowers, and I guess they're the national Canadian flower, or at least of Ontario, where my friend Amy up there lives. But so she's told me several times. Yeah, some wild violets there. Nice, pretty little violets. Actually, I'm kind of partial to violets for like a spring greens to eat. They have one of the better flavors, I think. I like going out in the front yard before I mow and munching on those. Dandelions too, especially the flowers. But there's never any shortage of trail snacks, that's for sure. And with all that I've learned since I moved back here, back in 2004, I've learned quite a bit. So I tell you what, I'd never have to starve in this area, that's for sure. There's so much stuff that's edible, it's kind of frightening. All during the seasons too. Okay, so that was the creek. That was a nice little, spot of that. Haven't seen any deer or squirrel or anything else yet. No turkeys, nothing like that. But we'll see. You never know what's up ahead. Okay, just a nice little place to sit and take a break. There's all kinds of blue flowers back there growing. A nice big patch of them. I'm gonna have to walk back there and see what they are. But I see all these trout lilies starting to come up. They're actually edible too, but they're kind of high in oxalic acid, so you don't want to eat too many. And then I noticed that this nice little patch of moss is just like sprouting like unbelievably, and it just was noticeable from a distance because of the bright red. But yeah, a lot of trout lilies in here, actually just starting to come up. I'm gonna walk back here and see what this blue stuff is, if I can't figure it out. It might be something that I haven't come across yet, but it's just so dominant right there. It's just like really noticeable from the trail. And I gotta at least see what it is. Maybe I can look it up and hate stepping on all this stuff. I mean, all these trout lilies are coming up and all this other stuff, but yeah, look at all this. Just gorgeous back here. I don't know what it is. I mean, beautiful. It's like, wow, what are these things? Just such a nice big patch of them here. I mean, look at that. Definitely have no clue what these are, but pretty little blue flowers with the yellow in the middle. Kind of, some of them look pinkish. Yeah, it really stood out. Just, every time I go hiking, I always see something new, something different. And it's kind of good because everything's still kind of not quite come to life yet, so it's easier seeing things at a distance. Of course, typical Pennsylvania woods are usually pretty lush, so a lot of times you can't see very deep into them. Like if this was summertime, I probably wouldn't even have seen that with all these other little shrubs and everything in here if they were all filled out. But still, like I said, something new, something interesting, pretty. A lot of trilliums coming up here. All these trilliums. Of course, they could be the white, they could be red, could be the toad shades. Toad shades are my favorite. They have like a mottled leaf. They usually sprout a little later than the white ones. But up here later when we get to the river, I usually see a nice blend of both red and white trilliums. So still no deer or anything like that yet, but like I said, nice little blue patch of flowers that I just wanted to record. I'll have to look up and see if I can figure out what those are, if they're native or if they're just something somebody threw out here or what. So, okay. All right, I had to turn it on because we got a deer sitting right there. Oops, she just ran off into the woods, but she's just standing right in the middle of the road there. It was funny because a cart just went, I guess like a little golf cart, kind of one of those little four-wheeler things with a couple of rangers on it, just went past. And that deer must have came down to see what they were doing. She's probably up here. I don't know if we're going to get a better shot of her. I doubt it, but was kind of nice that she was just sitting there right in the middle of the trail. Yeah, she probably ran quite a ways off. Sometimes they'll just go right off to the side of the trail and wait there for you, because the deer around these park areas are a little tamer than the ones out in the woods in the wild. I mean, they still don't come too close to you, but I did have a mama and her baby, you know, about 20 yards from me, maybe 40 feet. They were under the pawpaw trees while I was picking them, and they didn't seem to mind sharing with me, so they didn't run off or nothing. They just kept a wary watch on me. Oh yeah, she just disappeared. I don't know where she went. She went up that trail and she's gone. You probably saw her flash of a white tail whenever she took off, but yeah. Sometimes I get really close to them. It's like I noticed that if I'm walking out here in the woods, that a lot of these deer, if you stand perfectly still, it's almost like they don't see you. They just sit there and they stare and they move their heads back and forth. And then if you make a sound, you know, but don't move, they'll actually start stepping up closer to you to investigate. They'll be on full alert, you could tell, because they're ready to bounce, you know, but still, at the same time, their curiosity, I guess, gets the better of them. I did this to a mama and a couple of babies last fall. Babies were, you know, half grown. They were, well, a little more than half grown, but they were just on the trail, and I was clear out in the open. It's not like they could have missed me, but when I stopped, it's like they couldn't see me. And then I made a couple of sounds, and then the mama and one of the two babies started walking up toward me, and they were still a good distance away. They were probably around, I don't know, 60 to 80 feet away from me. Here's another switchback trail. I've walked most of these trails around here, but I really like this lower one the most. Now, we were here before, and now we're already over here. I'll probably go over and walk along the tracks just to go see the bridge and stuff. Then we'll head up there, down there to the upriver, and that's where the bulk of the pawpaw trees are. It's also where most of the trillium are. So, yeah, we'll go. I'll take a few shots of the bridge over the river, the railroad bridge over the river, because that's kind of a nice view anyways, and at least gives you a good view of how big the river is. See if there's any coal barges going up and down. So, yep. All right, so I think that'll be our next stop. It's probably going to be the bridge. Other than this little run, I can't remember the name of this one. Should have looked on the map back there, but oh well. Next stop, the railroad bridge. Okay, let's see. Taping, good. Well, obviously you can't trespass. You're not supposed to go on the bridge. Oh boy, see, private property. Dangers. There's a bunch of Canadian geese down there. I hear them. I can see one or two, but I don't see I don't see a whole bunch of them. This is also where the pawpaws start. There's a whole bunch right down in here. All kinds on that little ridge over here. I'm just gonna step on the edge so I could look over here. Wow, makes you dizzy looking down like that. Well, at least at my age, I don't know. Just there we go. Just everything. Nice big beautiful sycamore tree. And all on the other side of that, on that little hillside, a bunch of the pawpaws. Got a nice little box elder tree here in bloom. A couple more all in there interspersed. Can't see the river too much from here. I see some geese over there on the other shore. It looks like we're getting a little bit of sun to come out today. It's first the sun has been out today. Yeah, I usually go to this little patch over here every year and get pawpaws in the fall. They're not the best flavor, they're not the biggest, but they're pretty reliable. Sometimes you get to a patch that produces good one year and the next year it doesn't produce anything, but so many of these plants I don't even know what they are. I gotta really do a lot more studying. Another big beautiful sycamore and another one over there behind that cherry, I think. No, that's not a cherry, that's an oak. Still a little difficult without the leaves on there to tell, but from a distance anyways. But yeah, I used to walk down right here, this little treacherous little slope, and right down there, walk all through there. I've done a little fishing in here, caught a catfish or two, nothing big, but definitely. Hopefully I'm going to find some other species that I recognize from the book, but that I've never seen out in the wild. Like, oh, there was one I was just looking at it. Hackberry. These are supposedly pretty big trees, and they're easy to tell by the bark because it has all these little warty, cork-like growths on it. But they're supposed to be native in the area. And I haven't actually seen one that I'm aware of, but hopefully I'll get to find one. I think I'll recognize it by the bark. Another one that I probably even walked past several times is the Russian olive. I mean, they're not very big. They're kind of like the size of this thing, and for all I know, that could be one. I don't know. It doesn't look like the pictures I've seen. These leaves are a little different shaped. Yeah, and the flowers are different too. So I don't even know what this bush is, but there's a lot of these around. Smooth bark. Yeah, a lot of these everywhere, all over the entire area where I live. You think I'd know a lot of this, but I don't know. You know, you do so much reading and kind of mixes all up in the brain, and it takes a while to sink in and categorize and get in the right place. But a lot of wild roses. I'm so glad I wore my pants and not shorts today. All right, still no mushrooms anywheres, but I don't know. Gotta go back down this way because I don't feel like tromping through the woods to get back to the trail over there. So we're just gonna walk back the way we came. Oh God, that's a big, beautiful sycamore. Look at that big thing. Nice crown on it. Just beautiful. Oh, I love the sycamores. They're so magnificent, so big. All right, we'll see what else is down the road.